In this video, I'm going to go over the 3 reasons why these gurus are charging $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000 for their courses. I'm going to tell you exactly why they're doing it, and I'm going to tell you why you should never ever buy one of these courses. So if you watch a lot of YouTube business videos, potentially even before this video, you got an ad for someone trying to sell you on a course, whether that's Amazon FBA, Shopify dropshipping, Facebook ad agency, whatever it is, potentially you've seen these ads of people trying to sell you these courses. And if you actually look into them, most of them are costing $2,000, $3,000, or $5,000 or more to get involved in these courses. And a lot of people just don't understand why the price is so high. And I'm going to show you in this video what you're actually paying for these courses. Now, I don't actually have a problem with people selling courses. It's just that these prices are obscene. They're ridiculous, and you're not actually paying for the information, you're paying for other things, which is why they're so expensive. If you want a good course that's not going to cost you a lot of money, go to a site called udemy.com. It's a great site that has plenty of courses in any topic you're interested in, and most of them are between $15 and $50. And it will have the same information that's in a lot of these gurus courses that cost $2, $3, or $5 grand to get involved in. So you're not really paying for the information. In this video, we're going to cover the 3 reasons why these courses actually cost so much money. So the first reason that they cost so much money is that these gurus are living off of the courses. I know a lot of people don't agree with this. There's people, I did a video on Kevin David, and a bunch of people are like, Kevin David knows what he's talking about. He's an Amazon guru, he's got everything covered, and it's just simply not the case. Most of these gurus, if you actually look into them, you will see they're just blatant frauds and they don't actually do what they teach. I'll have a link to a channel called CoffeeZilla. He does a lot of videos on a lot of these gurus. He's caught a lot of these gurus, caught them red-handed, just blatantly lying. Kevin David lies about his numbers. KT9, they're another group. They paid someone else to create the course for them, and now they're selling ads saying like, we're these big Amazon gurus that make so much money through Amazon, and it's simply not the case. They're selling the courses and they're living off of the money they make from the courses. So I'll do this as an example right here. So up on the board here, we have, for example, if you have courses, let's say you sell $100,000, and many of these guys, they're selling millions of dollars worth of courses, but let's just bring it down for something that's easier to achieve. So let's say you sold $100,000 worth of your course in 1 year. Now, expense-wise, for a course, there's not really many expenses involved around selling a course. For example, you could list your course on a site like teachable.com, and that's going to cost you about $99 a month. That's all it's going to cost you. You create the videos yourself, if you create them yourself, put them up on the site, and then you can create a YouTube channel, start running traffic to it, and it's going to cost you about $99 a month to host this, and you could potentially be making about $100,000 in course sales. Now, there's no real expenses in the course sales around that, so you get to keep all of that for yourself. So it's very lucrative to get into the course making business. Now, there is a secret expense we'll talk about. That's term number 2, revolved around this. But for most people, if you just like run a YouTube channel or whatever, it's very cheap to create courses. There's not a lot of expenses involved in something like that. Now, let's take Amazon FBA, for example. Let's say you sell $100,000 worth of product a year on Amazon FBA. Now, if you're creating a product, if you're doing private labeling, you're going to have to pay for these products in China. So you're going to have to put a bunch of money down first, okay? So you have to put all this money down, and then there's going to be a bunch of fees that Amazon charges you. I won't go into too much depth about all the fees and everything. That'll be for other videos if you want to watch that. But Amazon charges you a bunch of fees, and potentially most people say you should have about 40 to 50% profit on whatever item you say. So let's say you do about $100,000 worth of sales on Amazon FBA in a year. Potentially that would only be about $50,000 worth of profit at the end of the year. And then you have to take a large majority of that profit and rebuy from your supplier in China. So you have to spend even more money to buy more product to ship it back over here to America so you can start selling more of that product again. So potentially, if you do $100,000 a year in sales on Amazon, you could potentially only be making about $20,000 in actual profit once it's all said and done. So looking at that, you can see that selling courses is much more profitable than an Amazon business. You can see it's way more easy to make money through courses as opposed to Amazon FBA. Now, I did say there was a secret expense around selling courses, and that is term number 2. That's the second reason why you shouldn't be buying from these people, and we'll go over that now. Now, the secret expense around courses is actually marketing. Now, you can have a YouTube channel or a blog and try and get free traffic there to sign people up for your courses, but a lot of these big gurus will actually pay for traffic on YouTube and Facebook. KT9, Kevin David, Dan Vass, they will all pay to get people to sign up for their courses. Generally, they'll have a webinar, and then the webinar will try and get people to sign up for their courses, and these ads are very expensive. So when you buy one of these $2,000, $5,000 courses, the majority of the money, at least 50% of what you're paying them, is not going towards the quality of the course. It's going towards their advertising costs, because their advertising costs are insanely expensive. And I know this is true because I have 3 different YouTube channels. I have an Amazon store and a Shopify store that I have run ads to over the years. I know how expensive it is, and I have a YouTube channel related around business, and any type of ad is going towards a business channel is going to be very expensive. I'll have a link to that video where I talk about the ad revenue that I make from this channel. It's very high because a lot of these gurus want to run ads on business type videos. So let's actually go into an actual funnel. Now, this funnel is very accurate from a lot of ads that I have run. Generally, on a very high price course like a lot of these gurus sell, you're probably going to get about a 1 to 3% conversion rate on the traffic you drive to the ad. So what's going to happen? Let's say you spend $1,000. Let's say these gurus spend $1,000 to get their ad in front of 100,000 people. 100,000 people see their ad. It costs them $1,000 to get in front of all these people. And from those 100,000 people, 10,000 people actually watch the ad and go to their website where they have the webinar, right? And then when they get to that page, they have to sign up and give them their email. But most people don't actually do that. So from those 10,000 people, let's say 1,000 people actually sign up for the webinar and decide to watch it. From that, the majority of people will only watch a few minutes of the webinar. So let's say 100 people from the initial 100,000 who saw the ad, only 100 people actually watch the entire webinar. From those 100 people, potentially you might only get 2 sales. From 100 people watching the entire webinar, only 2 sales. Think about that. You got your ad, it cost you $1,000 in front of 100,000 people, and you only got 2 sales from that ad. You can see how expensive marketing actually is. So let's say your product was $500, right? So if it was $500, you got 2 sales, you just made $1,000. So you just broke even. You spent $1,000 on ads, you got $1,000 back because you got 2 sales, you broke even. That's terrible. You don't want that. Now let's say your course is $5,000, which a lot of these courses are. If you sell 2 courses, you just made $10,000. Your ad cost was $1,000. So you just made $9,000 in profit. So you can see how lucrative it is if you're able to get your ad cost correct. But you can also see why the majority of money that you have to spend on these courses when you're paying $2,000, $5,000 for these courses is actually going towards marketing. They need you to spend that much money because the majority of people don't actually buy the courses. And because the majority of people don't buy the courses, you have to pay 10x the price of what you should actually be paying for it. And the third reason why these courses are so expensive is these gurus are trying to confuse you into thinking that it's higher quality. There are entire brands built around, overinflated prices, trying to convince people they're worth more money just because it costs so much money. And unfortunately, this works very well. For example, there's a company called Supreme. They sell a t-shirt. It's a white t-shirt. It says Supreme on the shirt. That's all it says. It sells for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and it's no different than any type of shirt you can get at like Kohl's or Target or whatever. But they have built this brand around convincing people that their products is worth so much money. And these gurus are doing the same thing. So for example, if you see a course that's $1,000, you must think, oh, that must be a good course. There must be some really valuable information in there. If you see a course that's $200, you'd be like, oh, it's probably a decent course, some good information, but that $1,000 course probably has a lot more good information. You see a $25 course, you're like, oh, that's garbage. I don't ever want to be involved in a $25 course. And the reality is all 3 of these courses generally have the same information. If you've been selling on Amazon for any length of time, basically you're going to have the majority of the information be the same in pretty much any of these courses. If you go to Udemy, you get one of these courses for like 25 bucks. They're going to have the same type of information that these $1,000 or $5,000 courses have. Please do not be tricked by these gurus. They're trying to live off the money from their courses. They have way inflated marketing costs, so you have to pay way more money, and they're lying to you about the quality of the courses just to convince you that it's worth more money than it really is. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you don't actually buy any of these $5,000 courses. If you enjoyed this content, be sure and share it with other people. Be sure and like it, and be sure and subscribe because we will have more great content coming up soon. Thanks everyone, and have a fantastic day.